how meta ads actually work in 2026. Welcome to another lesson as a part of AI marketing, FlyRank's internship program. And yeah, like I said, in this one, we're going to cover the basics around meta advertising. Meta advertising can be expensive, but you can drive down the cost if you know what you are doing. Expensive doesn't necessarily mean bad. Even if it costs money, if it's getting you customers, leads, sales, then that's what it matters the most, of course. And then, of course, once you achieve that, you optimize to drive those expenses down. So let's start. How meta ads actually work. So the first one is you can write the best post in the world and reach 40 people, or you can pay $20 and reach 10,000. So that's the power of ads, and it works really, really fast. Here at FlyRank, we of course focus on organic SEO, or AI SEO, whatever you want to call it. But ads are always part of many businesses, especially when first starting out. So organic earns attention, ads buy it. But you don't buy attention with money alone. You buy attention with money times how likely Meta thinks people are to act on your ad. Meta doesn't like if customers or their users aren't clicking on the ad, because whenever they click or engage, that makes Meta money, because you are spending that money, you're giving it basically to Meta or Facebook, whatever you want to call it. So, and this is our roadmap for the day. So let's get started. First, I want to cover why Meta and why organic, I guess. So organic, of course, as you know, it's free. It has like a certain reach. It is slower. There has to be some trust or brand equity, and you depend on algorithm's mood, which is with a caveat. It's not only mood, but it's also a skill of how to trigger algorithm to recommend your content. But it is content heavy. You have to try different things and then hope for the best. It's great for warming existing audiences, and it's hard to scale on demand. That is, again, something we try to tackle here at FlyRank. But when it comes to paid, you pay per impression, action, sales, click, whatever you wanna the campaign goal is. A reach is elastic. You spend more, you reach more. Not necessarily, it's not parallel. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to spend this amount more, and I'm going to get that much more reach. That's not a rule at all. It's actually a big issue, how to scale ads, and there's a big science and skill in how to do that as well. But on average, if you spend more, you're going to reach more people. It's fast feedback loop. Within days, you already know, okay, this is working or not. Predictable, controllable volume stops the moment you stop paying. That's the issue, unfortunately. Scales what already works. So if you have a video that's going viral on Instagram, for example, then it's kind of safe to assume it's going to do well with paid ads. So you just move it into paid, and then that video should perform really, really well as an ad as well. And you compete in a live auction against other advertisers. So you're not buying customers necessarily, you are renting attention. And then how you deal with that attention is on you again. So the honest trade-off is organic builds an audience you own, paid rents one you don't. Serious brands run both. We call it double dipping. You use organic to earn trust, but you use paid to buy velocity. So now that we have that covered, let's actually start talking about how Meta works, how Meta picks ads. So the first step is retrieval. There are millions of ads going live every single day. There's millions of advertisers and millions of businesses using Meta to target your customers, basically, or target similar customers. So there's millions of eligible ads, and then they move it into a manageable candidate pool. So cheap, fast filters, audience placement, basic eligibility. Meta decides on your ad, is it good? Like what audience is targeting, what placements is it going to serve? So that's kind of quick, fast filters, just to kind of separate you from somebody else that's advertising something completely different. Then step 2 is light ranking. Quick, cheap model cuts the, when we say model here, we mean AI, and we're going to talk about how Meta uses AI to actually target people. Quick, cheap model cuts the pool further. Rough guess at who's likely to engage. Again, AI does it, but again, on cheaper models, just to kind of narrow the audience down. Then step 3 is heavy ranking. A deep model scores every survivor for value to advertiser and value to user. So Meta knows your best clients, and because they deal with so much data, they already kind of know who's going to react to what. So they kind of already know what's your ideal customer or your ideal, let's say, person who's going to see your ad. So in this step, they are basically funneling down to like the best audience you can get for the ad that you created. It depends what you're saying in the ad, how the ad looks. All of those things, the creative matters how Meta decides in this step who to rank. So they're also do not care. Meta does not care if maybe there's a customer for you, but they will not click. They have shown to Meta that they do not click on ads, for example. So they will most likely remove that person from this pool, because Meta wants you to spend money with Meta, because Meta is business at the end of the day, and ads is how they make most of their money. So that's the step of heavy ranking, and the step number 4 is the auction. Highest total value ad wins the impression, not the highest bidder, but the highest expected value. Again, like I said, Meta is a business, and the more amount of money they expect their users to spend, and you as an advertiser to spend. That's the combination that Meta is looking for. If you're just throwing money at Meta, it's not necessarily going to mean that they're going to serve you to your best customers and you're going to scale and everything is going to be amazing. You're going to make so much money. That's not the case at all. If your creative is bad and Meta evaluates it as a bad thing and your customers will not, or Meta's users will not like it, then they're just gonna you will not win that placement over somebody else who may be spending a bit less, but their creative is great, their offer is great, and Meta expects Meta users to convert. So highest expected value is what we are trying to do. This is the equation. Advertiser value equals bid, so how much money you pay for the ad, times estimated action rate. Meta rewards ads people are likely to act on. Meta likes when people click on ads or engage with ads or leave the form in the ad. So high predicted action rate equals you win impressions at a lower effective cost. You can spend a lot of money on bad creatives, and your CPMs, your CPAs will be higher. Your cost will be higher if your creative is bad, if your offer is bad. So it matters how much you pay, like what your bid is, definitely, but estimated action rate is also what's super important. So consumer value factors, Meta also weighs predicted quality of the post-click experience. So once they click and go to your website, how do they react to your website? Did they just leave? Did they convert? So that's important. Ad relevance to the specific user, negative feedback risk, to hide or report the ad. That's something Meta does not like. Whether the user has seen this ad recently. Again, there's also remarketing campaigns and so on, but yeah, this is just what's your ad frequency, how much has one person seen this ad repeatedly, or from this advertiser. So these are the things that I will talk more about, like post-click experience in a second. But the key insight and the main takeaway of today's lesson is your creative is your targeting. Meta used to work based on interests. You would click, this person interested, or like female from this and that age and interested in weight loss and so on and so on. And then you would sell them your weight loss products. That's no longer how it works. You can still do that, like that manual targeting based on interests and demographics, but your creative should do your targeting. You should leave it to Meta, to their AI, to find you ideal customers. This is not 100% true in all cases, but in most cases, this is how ads are being run in 2026. So your creative is your targeting. If in your video you mentioned, if you're a business owner doing over $1 million, that means Meta will serve it to people who have businesses that are doing over $1 million a year. Not in 100% of the cases, but if Meta believes, based on data that they have, that this is the person that we're talking about, then they will serve your ad to these people. You just leave it to their AI and to their data to make decisions for you. Great ad tells Meta who it's for, the people who stop, watch, and click. Teach the algorithm to find more like them. So, and that is far more precisely than any interest checkbox ever could. So you can click on those interests. It's the old way of doing things. So just focus on your creative, and the targeting will come. How the campaign structure can look like. There are different debates, and for different use cases, this is the basics. We're covering the basics, so I will not go into deep stuff, but I definitely urge you to check out other creators who have talked about campaign structures and for different businesses and so on, and for different campaign objectives. But we have campaign, then ad set is within the campaign, and then ads are within the ad set. So you can have multiple ad sets in the campaign, you can have multiple ads in the ad set. Campaign is the goal. It tells Meta what outcome you're optimizing for: sales, leads, traffic, awareness. Everything below inherits from here. Ad set means who, how much, and where. So audience, budget, schedule, placements, bid strategy. This is where the money actually lives. There's a thing called ad budget optimization versus campaign budget optimization, ABO versus CBO. I urge you, after this video, Google it or try to find YouTube videos around it, and you will find out more about it. But in general, this is the rules that we apply here at FlyRank, and that we see people applying, from our network. Ad is what people see at the end of the day. So that's the creative image or video, and it can be a meme, or it can be anything. Your primary text, your headline, CTA button, and destination. This is what people see, and this is what you kind of decide what to put. This is what you create, actually. Image or video, you can create it outside of Meta, then you upload it to Meta, and you add primary text, headline, CTA buttons, and destination within Meta ad builder or campaign builder. So there are 6 campaign objectives: sales, leads, engagement, traffic, ad promotion, awareness. Depending on what your business is and what your goals are, you're going to use different campaigns. For example, for this internship, we just ran, I think we spent like 50 or $100 just to run some ads, just to see if there's going to be any demand for this internship. So we ran awareness campaigns mostly. We also ran some traffic campaigns, some engagement ones as well. That those were on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn advertising is a bit different. So yeah, we're talking here about Meta, and depending on what you're trying to achieve, you just choose one of these campaign objectives. Again, I urge you to find out more once you try to build a campaign and decide what you want to do. Just learn more about each 6 of these. So what's different 2026? Like I mentioned, Advantage Plus, which is the name of Meta's AI for targeting, that's the default for most objectives. Meta owns the audience and placement decisions. You leave it completely up to Meta. It makes campaign creation easier and more efficient in most cases. Again, not all, but most cases. Detailed interest targeting is largely deprecated or auto-expanded away. So this is the old way of doing things. You just clicking, this is the interest, this is demographics. That's the old way of doing things. It can still work, but we are focusing mostly on Advantage Plus. Your levers have shifted upwards. Objective, offer, and creative now do the heavy lifting. Your creative, what you say in the ad, what you show in the ad, your offer and your objective, how you package it all, that's the most important thing. Manual campaigns still exist, but you fight the algorithm to use them. So you're fighting Meta's basically decision-making process, which is often not that clever. In one of our previous lessons, we mentioned interrupt versus intent ads. So Meta is an interruption channel, of course, because for intent, user is actively searching for a solution on Google, and then you serve them based on that keyword, you serve them an ad. For Meta, somebody is just doom scrolling their Instagram and then your ad pops up. So that's the interruption, you're interrupting them. So that means that those audiences are much, much colder. You're serving to a colder audience rather than somebody searching for something and then you show up. You must earn their attention within 1 to 3 seconds. Nobody has to see you, you're interrupting them, so make sure it's valuable and it's there's a hook, so it hooks them to watch the rest of the ad. Every second earns the next second, so make sure all of those information and animations and visuals are appealing. You have to create demand, not just capture it. CPMs are lower, but conversion is harder. So you're selling to a colder audience. The conversion rate will be lower than, for example, with intent-based ads, because I'm just scrolling my Instagram. I don't care about making a purchase right now or making a conversion decision. So it is a colder audience, but there are ways how you can make this colder audience into a less cold audience, and that's mostly through retargeting and so on. But yeah, your CPMs will be lower. Volume of impressions can be enormous. Scale is real, but so is waste. So you do not care only about reaching many people. You care about what these people do with your business. The creative isn't the wrapper for the offer. It is the strategy. So what you mentioned in the creative, hey, if you're this person, if you're that person, if you're doing this in your life, if you're interested in this, these type of messages will do the targeting. On Google, the keyword does the targeting. On Meta, the creative does. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the hook, the offer, and CTA. Some of these things we have already covered. So the hook is the part of like the first 3 seconds, but yeah, I would more lean into first second or two. 4 hook types that work. Curiosity. So the reason your ads aren't working has nothing to do with your budget, and so on and so on. So this would be a hook. Somebody's like, why my ads aren't working? And then I tell them, hey, this is the reason. Obviously, makes them curious. Pattern breaks. That means you're just basically surprising them with something. Unexpected visual, weird cut, off-camera voice. You can get creative here. Direct call out. So this is the one example that I mentioned so far, is like, if you run a Shopify store under $50,000 per month, watch this. And then you're calling them out. If you're trying to lose weight for summer, yada, yada, yada. This means you're targeting people who obviously want to lose some weight before the summer comes. Bold claim / statement. That's again, it could be a bit mixed with curiosity, but we spent $2 million testing this. Here's what worked, and then you get them hooked. Like, okay, this is interesting. It's a bit of a pattern break, bit of a curiosity. It's a whole combination. So these are the hook types that work. There are many more, of course. So rules: motion in frame 1, human face beats a product shot, a text on screen for the sound off scroll. There are many again rules, and yeah, how you're gonna create the ad or your creative is actually a big science, and your data will show you what will work the best, and your competitors as well, which we'll cover in a second. Quick hydration break. Okay, the offer. The reasons to care, why these people should care about your ad or click on your ad or make an engagement. So value, what they get and why it's a no-brainer at this price. You're paying for these ads, you're paying for these placements, so make sure you provide value so these people click on these ads or engage in some way. You're spending money, make sure it's worth it. Do not just put out ads just to put them out. Of course, you have to test the different strategies and so on, and you should do ads, but make sure it's valuable. Provide value, give a better discount, give something that these people think it's okay. This is a no-brainer. I have to have this now. You have to mitigate risk. So the lower the risk that they feel working with you, the better your ad will perform. So offer money back guarantees, free trials, no card required, no sign up required. I'll get you business to this and that, whatever it may be. So try to lower the risk as much as possible, or show like other brands that you worked with, some of the examples of your work, so they already feel more confident working with you. So urgency, make a real deadline, because people, if you tell them they have unlimited time period to make a decision, that they will postpone that decision. They would much rather keep scrolling on their Instagram rather than make any decisions, because they're just resting. So make them feel a bit of urgency. You can create real deadlines. You can create real scarcity. You can even fake it. I put down here, never fake it, because it is the good way to see it. But you can, and a lot of advertisers do fake urgency. I'm not condoning it in any way, but you can do it, and it is a real strategy. But you can create, of course, real deadline and real scarcity, real offers, like literally ending within the next 48 hours. So you just tell them, and yet within the next 48 hours, we will be onboarding 5 new clients for 50% off. And then once that 48-hour countdown ends, you remove it from your website, you remove it from your offer. What you can do then is, if somebody's like, hey, I'm late, but I still want to do this, you're telling, hey, 50% is discount is no longer on the table. But what we can do, because you were a bit late, is we can do 25% discount, for example. So you can still make a real deadline and real scarcity. Always use one angle per ad. Do not stack 3 offers, pick one lever, and then pull it hard. Don't confuse these people. Make it simple for them to make a decision. Do not use elaborate language in most cases. Keep it simple. And because people are just, on their phone or, just scrolling, make it simple for them. The CTA, call to action button, is you're calling upon them to make a decision, to make an action. So just make it clear. You ask them to do one thing. Do not ask them, hey, leave your email here and then schedule a call and then do this. Do not do that. Just, hey, shop now, get the guide, book a call. Do not put multiple call to actions. Just make it one. So they feel, they feel it's clear, and then they do not feel overwhelmed with information. So the recipe is hook, stop the school, offer, give them a reason, give them something valuable, and then make them do the next thing you want them to do. The offer is super important into how your CTA will look like. So the next thing I want to cover is concepts versus variations. How to actually structure creative testing. Concept is a distinct angle or idea. It's a new hook, new format, a new promise, new persona speaking, new visual, everything new, like something new. And then, for example, it would be founder's point of view, or customer testimonial, or problem agitate. Concepts are bets. You launch a few and then kill the losers. So those are the concepts. You're testing something completely new. Variation is the same concept, but a small change. New thumbnail, different first 2 seconds, although this is no longer actually something that I would necessarily recommend, just changing the first 2 seconds, because then Meta just lumps as they're too similar, they lump it up together and then serve it to the same audience. So not necessarily, but it is a variation, and you can test it, of course. Different headlines, different primary texts, different colors. It's the same angle. You're still offering the same thing, and it's the still same content. It's just a bit different when it comes to how you present it. So variations for those winning concepts, sharpen it. You are trying to find the best possible variation of the winning concept. So never test a variation of a losing concept. If a concept was losing, it most likely wasn't because of the one little tweak. It's mostly because of just the whole concept was poor from the beginning. So test variation of winning concepts. So how to launch? There are no like 100% rules. This is just my suggestion is launch 3 to 5 distinct concepts in one ad set. Let it spend enough to escape learning. I'll cover more learning phase in a second. So around 50 optimization events. Kill concepts with no signal, double down on the winners. Spin 3 to 5 variations of each winner, and then the winner of those variations becomes the new baseline. This is your baseline. This is what I'm trying to achieve with my next creative. So hook rate, 3 seconds, 3-second views per impression is the hook. That is how you see is the hook working. CTR, click-through rate, is your offer good? And then CPA and the ROAS, return on ad spend, or this is cost per acquisition or cost per action, let's say. Is the whole thing profitable? That because in most businesses care whether their ads are profitable. Return on ad spend, of course, is one of the biggest metrics you can track. The trip ups that most people get wrong when first starting out is the learning phase. So Meta needs somewhere around 50 optimization events per ad set per week to exit learning. Before that, cost per result is noisy, sometimes wildly so. You do not know before the learning phase ends. You do not know like what's the actual situation. The learning phase is you publish something new, a completely new ad set, and then you leave it run for a week, and you are or at least 50 optimization events. That optimization event, if you're, let's say, in an e-commerce store selling a product, that's for like 50 purchases or 50 add to carts or whatever you're trying to optimize for. But if you're selling products, you're trying to optimize for sales. If you want them to submit a form, that's the event you're trying to get. When 50 people submit a form, you can kind of expect the learning phase is somewhat over or completely over. Do not make any edits to the ad sets before this is done, because you're just going to reset the learning phase, and then you have to have new 50 optimization events. So do not touch it. Do not judge ad in the first 2 or 3 days. Sometimes you can see in one day whether it's working or not. I encourage you, until you get to that point, just keep it running for 2 or 3 days. Do not run too many ad sets on $50 budget, because these are like small budgets. $50 per day, let's say, is a starting budget if you're targeting people in the US. In India, in Bosnia, in Germany, in all of these markets, it's a different thing. In the US is, in most cases, the most expensive market you can advertise to. So let's say $50 a day should be, let's say, a minimum or around the minimum. Do not run too many ad sets. Run a few. And then if you're running too many ad sets, you'll never escape learning anywhere. Okay, the data quality. Super important. And the one thing I mentioned before is like the post-click experience. If Meta can't see what happens after the click, it can't necessarily optimize. It can't find the similar people that will make the same actions. So install the conversions API, not just the pixel. Again, this is more advanced, but have it in mind. Watch event match quality. Aim for A+ in Events Manager. Again, something to bear in mind. Send server-side events for purchases, leads, and add to carts. That's basically what Conversions API does. Again, if you're confused by this, I encourage you to learn more about it. Once you make creatives, and then you start running some ads, and then this is the next step of your learning process of how to run Meta ads. Bad data means expensive ads that never learn. Meta will never find you your ideal customers because you never gave them a chance to learn from. You never gave them the data to learn from. So the data quality is super important, but it is the next step beyond the basics. And this is the one that I see most people when first starting out get wrong, is they take Meta's own advice. Meta is a business. They want you to spend money with them so they make more money, obviously. So they will give you like, hey, add budget here, you'll get that much more results, or add this text here, it's great, or add these placements, your ad is gonna work great. Do not listen to Meta. Do not click on any of these auto-applied recommendations. You can read them, you can maybe consider them, you can even test them, but do not click on these auto-apply. Hey, apply Meta, apply whatever you want for these ads. No, do not do that. Turn off all of their enhancements, all of their stuff that they have going on. That you should never have that running, except if you tested it yourself, then and you saw it's working, then fine. sure, you do it, but never just obey Meta, because Meta is a business and they will take your money, and that's what they care about the most. Which again is fair; they're trying to make money, so it's like any business. But do not be naive and think, okay, this is Meta just working for me and that's it. No, do not listen to their advice. So how you find a winner that you can copy, because when you first start out you do not know what's going to work. So do not just try blindly testing everything. See what others in your niche are doing. That's why you need to do an ad breakdown. So how to find winners from other advertisers. First, go to Meta Ad Library, or actually first just scroll through Instagram, react to some of the ads that you are trying to make, and so the algorithm will start showing you more of those ads, and see what others are doing. And maybe if it piques your interest, then maybe you can try it. But on average, you can go to Meta Ad Library, so facebook.com/ad/library, and I have it here actually. Let me zoom it a bit. So this is how it looks. Here it's going to show your country. Just click on all, and here on all ads. And then you can just find the advertiser. If you find somebody that your competitor, you can just type them here. Symbiotica, for example, I just did it recently, so I just clicked on Symbiotica, and let's see their ads. So how do you know out of these ads, because there's quite a bunch of them, which ones are winners? The ones who are running the longest usually means that they are the winning ads, because nobody wants to spend money on ads that do not work. That doesn't make sense. If an ad is running for a long period of time, that means that business has paid a lot of money to Meta to keep it running. And why would they keep it running if it's not doing what they wanted to do? Whether it's purchases, signups, maybe they got a lot of new followers from it, whatever it may be. That business obviously likes that ad, so that's why they keep running it. In rare scenarios, you'll see some huge businesses forget about ads, or just keep spending. But traditionally, your competitors will care about and will manage their ads properly. So you can go here. Go back to Meta Library, and here under filters, you can maybe see, just images or videos and memes and so on. You can choose the meta type or even platform here, like let's say Facebook and Instagram. All of these, mostly you will not care about those. And then sort by date. So we want to find ads that are still active. So we have it here, active ads, and that have been running for at least a month, 2 months, especially if it's a big brand that's running a lot of ads. You can just go back a few months, let's say June or even May, let's say 1st of May. And they've been running these ads for at least, today is August 12th. So they've been running it for May, June, July, August 12th. So 3.5 months. That obviously means that they like this ad a lot. And then you just click on apply filter. And these are the ads. As you can see, these are all image ads. Your competitors might have more video ads, which is more often the case than not. But yeah, so then you copy their concepts. You do not copy it one by one. I will not create an ad that looks exactly like this, but I will make it. The text will be at the top, then my product image will be here. I will use maybe a shade of blue, maybe not, depending on my brand. But again, it matches this matches this. So if this is red, maybe this one should be red. Again, those are variations of the concept. But I will try to find inspiration from these winning ads. Obviously, okay, this one has more information on it. So 300 milligram NAD plus, whatever this means. Epigenin reduces, I don't know, yada, yada, yada. This is a bit more education. So in my concept, in my testing, my ad, I will be providing more info here, like they did here. So this is how I would find inspiration from my competitor winners. So filter by country. Again, I just showed you like all across the board, but maybe if you're only serving ads to people in Egypt, then you can just find your Egyptian competitors and just find what they're working on. Search a competitor's page name, filter active only, and find ads running that more than 30 days. Especially if it's a big brand, you can do even more. So the 4 questions. What's the hook? First 1 to 3 seconds. What made you stop? Curiosity, call out, pattern break, claim. So that you're trying to find their ads, and if it's a video ad, like in the hook here, you're trying to find, okay, what's their call outs, what's their pattern break, what's their bold statement, whatever. The second one, what's the offer? Which lever did they pull? Value, risk, or urgency? Is it 1 clear angle or 3 stacked? What did they do? What do they offer in this ad? And you try to obviously make the similar offer. What's the CTA? 1 action or many? Where does the click go? Does the landing page match the ad? You have to analyze their post-purchase or post-click experience as well. And number 4, who is this targeting? Targeting is mostly done based on the creative. So your creative, their creative will tell you who they're targeting. So the personal screen, the paint they named, the vocabulary they used, this is the audience. And you can target the same audience or maybe a different one. I don't know. Longevity equals money. If an ad has been running for months, it's making money. Nobody spends on a losing ad for 90 days. At least most people don't. Study the survivors, so the ads that are still running, not the pretty ones. The ugly ads can work really, really well. If you think it's ugly, that means nothing, basically. You can still be and outperform many nice looking ads. Okay, I've been talking here for 36 minutes now. So let's close it up. Organic earns attention, ads bite. You should be running ads. You should try testing ads if you have the budgets at least. Meta serves the ad with the highest expected value, not the highest bid. If you have a winning ad and you're spending $100 per day for those for that winning ad, let's say, if you raise it to $300, that doesn't mean that you will get 3 times the amount of leads or customers or purchases. That's not how you scale ads. You have to scale. There's a certain logic behind how you scale ads, and it's a bit more complex than nuanced. But I just want to say that if you just throw money at Meta, it does not mean that necessarily it will outperform your competition. Your creative will outperform your competition. Your creative is your targeting. Meta is an interrupt channel, so try to think about you're stealing away their time, their attention from memes, from, I don't know, funny clips. So make it worthwhile. Every second earns the next second. Number 5 is concepts win auctions, variations sharpen winners, winning concepts. And that's, I guess, a final recap. 3 things to remember. Creative is the strategy. Data quality is the fuel. So once you start running ads, of course, you have to install Metapixel, then you install Conversions API, then you track data, and so on and so on. Patience beats panic. You can use Claude and connect it to Meta to have Claude analyze your data and give you best conclusions. The next steps is ad library experience. Open Meta ad, pick 3 competitors in your niche, or maybe brands you're interested. Find 1 ad from each that's been running for 30+ days. Answer the 4 questions for them. Bring them to the next session. If we're going to talk the next session in which we talk about Meta ads. Again, this is not an assignment. This is just an exercise for you to kind of practice a bit more when it comes to Meta ads, and to kind of apply what you have learned in this lesson. So some likely questions I would have is, and I often have when I talk about Meta, is how much budget do I need? So whatever is enough to hit 50 conversions per week per ad set. If your CPA is $20, that's $100 per week. Below that, you're guessing. Again, for US market, like let's say under $50 per day is not enough. It's not a rule, but it is most common case. So it depends what your business is. If you're selling, I don't know, shoes, it will be different from selling SEO services. So, and who your audience is, it all depends. So you have to run some ads first, set out, like, let's say if you're in the US, $50. If you're somewhere else in the world, those prices those costs will be different. For Bosnia, obviously it's much lower than the United States. So yeah, $50 in Bosnia can do a lot of great things, while $50 in the US is just the start. So if you let's say that's the benchmark for the US, and if you're targeting somewhere else, I mean, I would urge you to kind of honestly do your own research and to do your own testing for your own market. Why are costs going up? So more people are advertising, and they're basically serving to the same people that you are serving. So auction pressure rises every year. Creative fatigue makes it worse. So people with they're running. I saw this from my 10 competitors. I'm also doing it. People get tired from the same ad, from the same creative. So if you fight it with fresh concepts, you will win, not just bigger bids. So you have to get creative here. Actually, like use your childhood imagination. My CPA doubled today. What happened? Usually nothing. Usually, and not always, but daily volatility is normal. Judge on a 7-day rolling, not day over day. Panic edits is how learning phases get reset. If you're making edits to your ad set before those like 50 conversions per week, you're resetting learning phase. You're not achieving anything. Do not do that. Do not do that. Leave the ad set alone until this happens, until you get out of the learning phase. My CPA doubled today. So what happened? Oh, I actually covered that one. So lowest cost versus cost cap. Again, you'll see this as you start creating campaigns. But lowest cost means spend it all, get what you get. Cost cap means don't spend if CPA exceeds certain amount. So start on lowest cost, but move to cost cap once you have a stable baseline, because you don't know like your cost cap. If you're just starting out, you don't know your CPAs, you don't know your numbers. So just start with lowest cost. And when Advantage Plus or manual, this basically means, should I trust Meta's AI or should I trust myself? On average, in 2026, trust Advantage Plus, trust Meta's AI to do your targeting. Manual can work for niche B2B, hyperlocal, or when you have a clear audience, the algorithm can find. Clear audience can be a bunch of like a list of emails that you have, and you want to target these people. So then it's fine to try manual. Should I still use interest targeting? Mostly no. Interests get auto-expanded anyway. Broad plus strong creative beats narrow plus weak creative almost every time. Just trust Meta and focus on the creative side, and targeting, leave it to Meta. How many ads per ad set? 3 to 6 active. Depends on your budgets, of course, but Meta picks a winner fast and starves the rest. So more than 6 often means wasted impressions or losers, but again, this is not set in stone. Should I follow Meta's recommendations? No. Under any circumstances, no. Do not follow them blindly. You can read them, you can even test them. Never auto-apply, never. Meta optimizes for you to spend money with them, for you to give them money, but you of course have to optimize for your profits. Why does my competitors' ads look bad but work? So, because looking bad, it means nothing. It's super subjective, and sometimes looking bad is even what makes it a difference. So it's a pattern break. Your ad looks terrible, and maybe you've seen like these billboards. Hey, we are looking for a creative or graphic designer, and then it's drawn in MS Paint. That's ugly, but it's also funny. It's a pattern break, and people aren't used to seeing just white screen with poorly written letters. So even if it's ugly, sometimes that can work in your favor. Can I just copy a competitor's ad? Copy the structure. So the hook type, offer angle, CTA style, what makes it a winner ad, but never the assets. Never. Their winner is tuned to their audience, not yours. So you never know what's going to work, but never copy it blindly. You can copy the concept or like what has worked for them, even like the post-click experience, like what did they do on their landing pages, but do not copy them at all blindly. So this is it. We have covered in 45 minutes or less Meta ads. There's many more things that you can learn, but mostly you will learn them by doing. So I encourage you to start spending with Meta. Maybe once you're ready, once you have some budgets, focus on organic first. If you don't have budgets to spend on Meta, and yeah, you'll have to test it on your own skin, or maybe if you start working for a company that does meta, you will get to spend their money and learn in the meantime. But yeah, that's gonna be I guess all. There's no assignment for this particular lesson, and yeah, I encourage you all to finish your other lessons, and feel free to send any questions to support@flyrank.com. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.